comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we got a pretty decent selection of Funko Pop announcements for you guys this week. And not only that, we do have, as titled in this podcast, the top 10 Funko Pops of December 2021. I just wanted to kick off also by saying thank you to everyone who had tuned in for the 12 days of content that had commenced this past Sunday, whether it was all 12 days of content or even one video out of the 12 days of content. We thank you very much for tuning in for the 12 days of content. We are back to our normal 3 days a week schedule this week, with next week actually being a little different because next Friday will not be a podcast because it is Christmas Eve. However, the podcast will still happen, but you guys get it a couple days earlier on the Wednesday. So instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week for content. But without further ado, we might as well kick off with what we've gotten this past week for Funko Pop announcements, kicking off with the first set we're going to discuss about, which range from December 8th all the way until December 10th, which kicking off, we got ourselves announced by Pop Culture is a silver metallic Britney Spears for the Pop Rocks lineup, which this is available now on Pop Culture's website with, I'm pretty sure, restricted shipping for Canada and the US, because I think this is available now at this point also as a Hot Topic exclusive limited to 5,000 pieces. Then on December 9th, Funko had announced a pop of Eddie Van Halen for the Pop Rocks lineup, which this is expected to release as early as January 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced the next pop for Funko Fridays over at Target, and it is an artist series Splinter for the TMNT lineup, in which that is available now in stores and for pre-order online. Then on December 10th, Funko had announced a couple of pops for the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, which we got ourselves variants of Clint and Kate, which it's unknown of when these are releasing, but these are available for pre-order now on the Target website. On that same day, Funko had announced a Funko Shop drop of a new variant of DJ Khaled with an orange suit, which from what I know, this is still available on the Funko Shop website because I know this thing did not sell out. On that same day, Funko had announced another set of artist series pops, which are of Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin and Catwoman from Batman Returns, which these are Target exclusives, and these are available for pre-order now and are expected to be released at some point in the new year. Once again, on that same day, Books A Million had announced their own exclusive pop of a Diamond Collection, The Vision from Wandavision, which this is available for pre-order now, and it's unknown of when this will be releasing in stores. And last but not least, for this section of pops, we have ourselves a glow-in-the-dark Blue Beetle for the DC Day of the Dead set, which this will be exclusive to GameStop, and it's unknown of when this is releasing because this was confirmed on the Funko app and not GameStop's website. So kicking off with the silver metallic Britney Spears, which this seems like it's going to be a huge trend where Funko is going to make silver metallic Pop Rocks pops and I guess slap a limited piece sticker, even though they're not really limited piece pops. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about Britney Spears overall. But something that I do have a lot to say about, and that is the brand new Eddie Van Halen pop, which a lot of people are super hyped about this Eddie Van Halen pop because a lot of people have been requesting about an Eddie Van Halen pop for a while now, and the overall design is awesome. I love how they added a mouth so you can see the facial expression involved with Eddie Van Halen, and it's cool now that it looks like for certain Pop Rocks pops, we are getting a stand with it and they're doing a pose. We've seen it with the Joan Jett pop that we talked about a few weeks ago in the podcast, and now we have it here with Eddie Van Halen, and I love how they went with that guitar that Eddie Van Halen has, because when you think of Eddie Van Halen, you think of that red guitar with the black and white stripes. A cool little thing to add is that Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, actually posted on his Instagram about this and mentioned how this has actually been in development and that his dad, Eddie, signed off on this pop in 2019. So this has been 2 years in the making already that we have been waiting for this pop. And it's too bad that essentially Eddie Van Halen passed away. So it was unfortunate to not see Eddie Van Halen get to see this pop, or even like it would have been really cool if, let's say, on like Van Halen's website, they would have like a limited run of Eddie Van Halen pops that are signed by Eddie Van Halen, which would have been pretty freaking sweet if you ask me. So overall, this is a wicked pop, definitely one of the better Pop Rocks pops. Then we have the Artist Series Splinter Pop, which I kind of predicted this last week, where we were done with the 4 Ninja Turtles and there's 2 spots left for Funko Fridays, which one of them already being taken. And we kind of figured it was either going to be Shredder or Splinter. And it is Splinter that has been announced. And I don't really have much to say, except that I feel like out of the now 5 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Artist Series pops, this may be the worst one out of the 5. And that's probably because of the colors that are used and just how it's very dark, with not only the main color, but what colors are added as the logos, which are just essentially pictures of Splinter's face. Then we have the brand new Hawkeye pops, which I'm actually kind of up to date on Hawkeye at this point. I remember after last week's episode had been released, I knew I had to catch up on the episodes because I knew for some reason that for the upcoming Friday after the release of the recent episode, there was going to be more Hawkeye pops that were going to be announced. So I didn't want to be like, oh, well, what happens in here? And now I kind of have an idea of what's going on here. And if it's for the scene that I'm thinking of that involves Kate and Clint with these kind of ugly Christmas sweaters, then that was kind of an emotional scene. So it's really cool that they ended up doing these in pop form. And I wish this would have been more of a 2-pack rather than 2 separate pops. And then we have DJ Khaled, which, I mean, this pop we already knew about because DJ Khaled is an idiot and posted this already on his Instagram like 3 months ago that this pop was coming out, instead of, in wrestling terms, keeping it kayfabe and let Funko actually post about it. But I mean, it is what it is. I kind of like this attire better than the other one he was wearing. I do like the orange and blue colors involved. But other than that, I mean, a lot of people were not hyped to the release of this pop. And then we have the Artist Series Batman pops of Mr. Freeze and Catwoman. And I should start off with Mr. Freeze by saying, I don't know what's going on, but is it possible for a second week in a row where there's an Artist Series pop announced and it doesn't disappoint me at all? There's something about this Mr. Freeze where, yes, you can kind of see that all it really is kind of like the blue color with a couple of snowflakes, but I don't know what it is. It's just that blue color looks really nice. I hope it looks that good in person, or maybe it's like a brighter blue, but overall, it's one of the better Artist Series pops. And then with Catwoman, I feel like it's kind of one of the opposites, where it's kind of what we've been talking about with Artist Series pops, where it's just, all right, let's add like a bright color and then add something related to it, like paw prints and the mask. Then we have the Books A Million exclusive Diamond Collection, The Vision from Wandavision. And this is okay. I mean, if we wanted to see new Wandavision pops, I was hoping that we would actually get new characters like Darcy or Jimmy Woo. I'm not going to crap on this pop too much because of the fact that it's Diamond Collection, but I feel like this is one of those pops that I can't really put my opinion on it of whether I don't like this Diamond Collection form until I see it in person, because I think it can go either way. I think it will look pretty cool because it's white, and sometimes white can get away with Diamond Collection a lot of times, but I feel like at the same time, it could be the complete opposite. So it's going to be one of those pops that I can't really put an opinion to it until I see it in person. And then we have the glow-in-the-dark Blue Beetle from the Dia de los, I think it was called, the Day of the Dead DC lineup. And this is actually pretty decent. It already looked like a pop to begin with that should have been glow-in-the-dark. I'm hoping that these blue colors look really nice. You're probably going to really have to charge it up because blue isn't one of those great colors, glow in the dark. But I think those greens that are involved with this pop is going to really make up for this when you take a black light and you shine it with it.
Okay, starting off with the silver metallic Britney Spears. This is interesting. I don't know whether I like this or hate this. I think that it kind of makes sense because it's like a platinum kind of color. And obviously, Britney Spears is an artist who's sold platinum records. So that is kind of interesting. I don't know what the reason for this is, like why we exactly need it, especially considering it's a limited piece count. I feel like that's really the only thing saving it, though, because people might want it because it's more limited, even though 5,000 pieces is quite a lot. Then we have Eddie Van Halen, which is awesome. This is a sweet looking pop. DK summed it up pretty good. You want an Eddie Van Halen with that guitar. So iconic. It's very, very cool. And it's interesting that they put a mouth on him. I mean, we've seen that with some other pops. One that I can think of is Steven Tyler had the huge mouth, obviously, but that's kind of needed for a character like Steven Tyler. So this Eddie Van Halen is awesome, and it is a shame that he's passed away and doesn't get to see this pop himself. But I think they did a really good job on it, and I will definitely be picking up this pop. And I think it should be mentioned that I'm liking the way they're going with some of these Pop Rocks pops with adding the stand, but I hope that they don't overdo it to the point where it feels like hockey pops or sports pops where they're kind of all in the same kind of pose. The artist series Splinter. This is okay. It's not terrible. I understand why they went with the kind of maroon, kind of burgundy color for the entire pop because of his coat, I guess, that he wears, like the house coat kind of thing that he wears. Was that color in some different TMNT things. I believe the original figure did have the coat that was that color too. And obviously that's what this pop is based off of. So that makes sense. The yellow kind of orangish color, the mustard, I guess you could call it. That's all right. I think it does pop out on the pop itself. But overall, this pop is all right. And I guess I will have to pick it up considering I have decided I will be getting the other 4 TMNT Artist Series pops. And hopefully we see one more pop of Shredder to kind of round this out. I wouldn't be disappointed if it was like a Casey Jones or something along those lines, maybe an April O'Neil. Then we have the Clint and Kate exclusive to Target from Hawkeye. This is okay. I haven't seen Hawkeye, which I do need to watch. I've heard from multiple people now that it's just amazing and one of the better Marvel shows that we've seen so far. These pops would be very good if you are a custom pop maker, I guess you could say, because you could use these body sculpts with the kind of ugly Christmas sweaters for a lot of different things, I feel. So that's kind of neat. I know we don't really talk about that very often on a Funko podcast, but I thought it was something cool to mention. Next up, we have another one of DJ Khaled. And I don't know, this one's not the greatest. I think I liked the original one better. Maybe it was just because there was more hype to that one because it was like, okay, we have a DJ Khaled pop. That's kind of cool. And now there's 2. I don't really think we need multiple ones, but I do think it is the memes of being able to say another one, which is the funny part about it. This pop isn't terrible, but I don't think we need it. I would have rather seen just about anybody else in the Pop Rocks lineup. Then we have the 2 Batman art series pops. We have Mr. Freeze and we have the Catwoman. And yeah, 2 weeks in a row now, we have artist series pops that are actually good. I like this because it doesn't have stupid words around it on the Mr. Freeze I'm talking about. You have the snowflakes, you kind of have diamonds, and then you have like some other little logos that almost look like bat signals, but I think they're supposed to be like more or less like icicles. So I think they did a really good job on this pop. And yeah, I can't believe it that we actually have multiple art series pops that we don't dislike now. And then we have the Catwoman, and yeah, that one's not great. I mean, you got the paw prints, you have her masks, and then you have the whip. So yeah, though I don't think that this Catwoman artist series pop is one of the better artist series pops, I don't think it's necessarily terrible. Then we have the Books A Million exclusive diamond collection, The Vision. And I'm interested to see what this actually looks like in person or through a photo that's not really a glam shot like this, because I did kind of want to get this original pop. And if the diamond collection one looks pretty good, I would probably consider getting that one instead of the original one. But I don't know. I'm not sure how great it will look, but I do think that with the colors used, that diamond will look nice on this pop. And lastly, we have the glow-in-the-dark Blue Beetle, and this pop looks pretty sweet. I think that the glow should be decent on this. Blue's not a terrible color for glow. It's definitely not great, but I think that it'll be all right. And then, like DK said, you do have that green on a couple different spots on the pop, which is cool. So I think overall, the glow should be all right. And I mean, this pop looks cool.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next section of pops for this week before we move on to our top 10 list that range from December 13th up until essentially yesterday, which would have been December 14th as we are recording this. So kicking off December 13th, Pop Culture had announced an exclusive pop of a Notorious B.I.G. with hypnotized suit, which this is available now on the Pop Culture website with restricted shipping to the US. Then on that same day, Funko had re-announced the Eddie Pops that were originally announced at Funko Palooza, except they added 2 new pops to that set, which we have ourselves Eddie Knights of the Dead and Eddie Live After Death, in which these are expected to release as early as February 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced the first of 7 pops involved in the brand new Sinister 6 Pop Deluxe set, which the first pop featured is Dr. Octopus. This will be exclusive to Amazon, and this will be expected to release as early as January 2022. On that same day, Pop Culture had announced an exclusive 4-pack of the DC holiday pops of Superman with Christmas sweater, Batman as Ebenezer Scrooge, Joker as Santa Claus, and Harley Quinn with Helper, in which this is available now on the Pop Culture website with restricted shipping to the US. And then on that same date, Funko had confirmed on the Funko app of the pops featured in what would have been November 2021's Marvel Collector's Core subscription box that was themed Eternals, which we have Icarus and Kingo, in which I will go into explanation on how I guess this isn't available now. And then on December 14th, yesterday, as we were recording this podcast, Funko had announced the first of 3 pops involved in a new set of Star Wars Duel of Fates Pop Deluxe set, which the first pop announced was Darth Maul, in which this will be an Amazon exclusive and is expected to release as early as April 2022. And then on that same day, Funko had announced the next set of NFT pops, which are of Bob Ross, which we have ourselves Bob Ross in paint can, which will be limited to 999 pieces. Bob Ross in paint can, and then a normal Bob Ross, both paint splatter versions, which are both limited to 1,200 pieces. And then we have a Freddy Funko as Bob Ross, which will be limited to 3,600 pieces. And these are going to be released on December 21st at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST on the Drop website. On that same day, Funko Europe had announced an EMP exclusive Nazi, I think it's pronounced, for the Pop Icons lineup, in which this is available as of today as we're recording this podcast on EMP's website. And last but not least for this podcast, Marvel pop comic covers of Captain Marvel, more specifically the Monica Rambeau version, which this is exclusive to Target, and it is available for pre-order now on Target's website, unknown of when it will be released. The Notorious B.I.G., this is okay. We've seen a ton of Notorious B.I.G. pops, so many that I can't even think of the number of Notorious B.I.G. pops that we have now, and this is okay. Then we have the new Iron Maiden pops, which these are pretty decent. I like the overall head sculpts of both of these versions. And a lot of people were still commenting they want Trooper Eddie. And I think for some reason, if I were to predict correctly, that I think at this point, we're not getting Trooper Eddie until they make an Iron Maiden pop album. Then we have ourselves the Dr. Octopus for the Sinister 6 Pop Deluxe set, which if you guys haven't yet, this past Tuesday on the channel, which actually was yesterday as we were recording this, we released a video on the channel about this pop. And essentially, I predict what the other pops are that are going to be involved in this entire set, which you guys definitely should go check that out. Pretty sweet video. I'm really excited about this, especially this is perfect timing because of this week's release of the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. And I think it's pretty notable that the Sinister Six will be appearing in the movie in some way, shape, or form. Kicking off with Dr. Octopus is pretty sweet. I do like this Dr. Octopus. I'm excited to see this set because this may be the best Pop Deluxe set that Funko has done thus far, and I think it's going to turn out great. Then we got ourselves the 4-pack of DC Holiday Pops, which what a waste of a 4-pack. This is continuing that trend. What a way to end off 2021 with still making already existing common pops and slapping them into a multi-pack, making them exclusive to somewhere. And like I keep mentioning about these 4-packs, unless you never had the time to actually get these pops essentially when they were out as single pops, then you could probably get the 4-pack and get away with getting these. But at the same time, now as I just realized, whenever they make these 4-packs, there's always one little slight change to kind of make you get this 4-pack. And it is the fact that the Ebenezer Batman actually has a red, white, and green outfit instead of having the light blue, dark blue, and white outfit for his attire. So I guess they are trying to get your money there by adding a pop that doesn't exist in a single form by having you pay a bunch of money to get a multi-pack that has already existing characters. Then we have the Eternals pops, which these are okay. I have not seen the Eternals movie, and I'll be honest, it's mainly because I didn't really see any interest in the movie. I'll eventually watch this, but I'm not rushing into this like I didn't rush into Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which was a great movie for anyone wondering who hasn't seen it. But these are okay. I know one of them looks like it's already been made, but they made it into a metallic form, which I think is the Icarus. And then the Kingo looks more of a casual form than what we gotten from the original set. I'm sure if anyone wants to get this, they will get the Marvel Collector's Core box, which was supposed to release in November, but somehow Amazon even announced that this box is delayed until the new year because of the worldwide shipment delays. Then we have the Darth Maul Duel of Fates Pop Deluxe, and this is sweet. A lot of people are really, really hyped for this, mainly because of the fact that this was an iconic scene in essentially The Phantom Menace, which I mean, a lot of people do regard as one of the worst films for Star Wars. This is great because something that I've been waiting for a while in Funko Pop form will happen with the set, and that is getting a Phantom Menace Obi-Wan. I've always wanted to see a Phantom Menace Obi-Wan Kenobi where he has the short hair. Well, it's mostly short, but you obviously have like the braid going down the side, and I can't wait till that happens. And obviously, because there's going to be that pop in Darth Maul, there's obviously going to be Qui-Gon Jinn because that's involved in that scene. Then we got ourselves the Bob Ross NFT pops, which it really sucks for Bob Ross fans because I know a few people that really like Bob Ross pops, and now it's going to be virtually impossible if you're trying to get a complete set. I like the Bob Ross and paint can. That's pretty sweet. It's a different version of Bob Ross. And then I kind of like the paint splatter versions also. I think that's pretty decent, except I feel like for at least the normal one that we've already seen the mold of, that I feel like isn't there already like the do-it-yourself pop that they have Fan Expo exclusive, and maybe MD can talk about this when he discusses about this. I'm pretty sure they already did the do-it-yourself pop, and it's exactly this mold. And then I feel like you can just essentially add your own paint splatter to it and not have to waste your money to go buy this pop essentially. Then we have Nazi. Who the is Nazi? I honestly don't know who the heck this Nazi guy is, and I don't really care who this person is. And then we have ourselves the next pop comic covers for the Marvel lineup, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. This is pretty sweet. I mean, it's a new Captain Marvel pop, but it's a different version of Captain Marvel. It's not the normal one that example we've been seeing quite a bit as terms to the MCU that we're used to. But seeing these obscure versions of a certain character is pretty sweet, and especially very coincidental that the first 3 pop comic covers that we have gotten for Marvel have all been characters we have seen in WandaVision. We've seen Scarlet Witch, we've seen The Vision, and now we are seeing Monica Rambeau. So I don't know. I'm still surprised we didn't even get, let's say, Spider-Man or Wolverine yet for a pop comic covers for Marvel yet. As terms to an overall comic covers, I would have to say it is my favorite out of the 3. I was going to say Scarlet Witch, but Scarlet Witch is more of they just repositioned the original Marvel 80th pop a little bit, and then they had a really cool cover. The Vision had a pretty decent pop, but didn't have the greatest like cover essentially. So then this is kind of like the happy medium, and that's why I kind of like this. So it's a pretty sweet comic cover if you ask me.
The new Biggie Smalls pop is actually pretty sweet. I think this is one of the more top tier Biggie pops. I feel like we do have a lot of Biggie pops now. This one, I guess, is deserving, obviously, for Hypnotize. I don't think it's the best one. I do think one of the ones with the crowns was the best Biggie pop that we've seen, but this is okay. And then we have two new Eddies from the Iron Maiden lineup. And these are pretty sweet, but again, it kind of falls under like, okay, we've seen quite a few Eddies now. Maybe let's kind of wait on seeing more Eddies for a while. But I do think that these two look pretty sweet. They're pretty detailed, and I don't know, they are cool. And then we have the first piece of 7 for the Sinister 6, which is so cool. We have Doc Ock, which is just awesome. I feel like this set is going to be amazing. And then we have the 4-pack of the holiday DC pops. And this is an okay 4-pack, I guess. It is just kind of repackaged pops besides the Batman. But I don't know. I think this would be the way that I would buy this. I probably wouldn't buy them singularly. So that makes sense for me, I guess. I don't know. These pops are decent. And then we have the 2 pops for the Marvel Eternals. And I don't know. I don't think I'm going to watch this movie. I don't know. I'm just not interested in it. These pops kind of look bargain bin like. They're definitely shelf sitters, in my opinion, even though they are from the collector's box. But I don't know. They're not great. And then we have the first of 3 for the kind of build a scene of the Duel of Fates. And this is awesome. The Phantom Menace is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, so I love this. Obviously, a lot of people love this scene. I think that Darth Maul looks good. And then, yes, obviously, we will get Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. And yeah, I'm super pumped to see that new sculpt and new version of Obi-Wan. And I don't know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Obi-Wans being produced soon, especially with the show coming out, which should be awesome. So hopefully we get some sweet pops for that as well. But I definitely want to see this version of Obi-Wan. Then we have the Bob Ross NFT figures, and I'm really getting sick of NFT pops at this point because it's just pops that I know I'm probably never going to own. But I think Bob Ross was a kind of smart idea for an NFT pop. So first we started off with the Bob Ross in the paint can, and that's okay. It's kind of a cool pop. It's a Bob Ross we haven't really seen before. And then you have the splatter paint kind of version of that, and I think that's decent as well. You have the splatter paint normal Bob Ross, which I do think is the best pop out of this set of pops. Though, yeah, like me, if you do own the do-it-yourself figure, you could kind of just make this figure yourself. So I could see this one maybe being worth the least out of the 4 pops here. And then we have a pop of Little Orphan Annie. Oh, wait, that's Freddy Funko? What? You got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. This like sucks. Okay. So I get what they're going for, but why is the hair red? Why is it not like an orangey color, which I think would have been better? I think even if they just dropped the afro and put a normal Freddy Funko head on there, it also would have been better. Candidate for the worst Freddy Funko Pop of all time. If you agree, drop a comment in the comment section down below with a paintbrush emoji. How about that? And then we have Nasi, which I had to look this up when I first seen this pop, which I believe was last night that I did this. And I guess he's an entertainer from Germany. Still don't know who the hell he is. I think this pop looks like a custom-made pop. Like if you just look at the pop itself, not even the box, this thing looks just like a custom pop. Someone made this pop. Funko didn't make this pop. Kind of brutal, honestly. The headphone is super weird. I'm assuming that's a headphone because it's just massive for some reason. It just looks so odd. I don't like this pop, and it's nothing against the person who this is made of, considering I don't even know who it is, really. But I feel like this probably won't sell well outside of Germany or maybe Europe, I guess you could say. But the box does say 69. Nice. And lastly, we have the Marvel comic cover for Captain Marvel. This is pretty sweet. This looks cool. I think DK summed it up well when he said that there's no real gripes with this, where we had a couple of different gripes with the Vision and the Scarlet Witch covers. So this is cool. I like the pose. I think it fits very well. I think it would have been cool if they kind of did like a clear glow in the dark paint on the hair that glowed green in the dark, obviously, to match the cover a little bit more, even if the whites on the pop glowed as well, just to kind of round it off as a really good glow in the dark pop. I think that would have been awesome, because if you do look at the cover, you do see the kind of green on the hair. And then obviously she's like, I don't know exactly what's going on with her, but she's like lighting up basically. So why is this not a glow in the dark pop? I feel like it should have been, and then this would have totally for sure been the best comic cover we've seen so far.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off and also free shipping over $75 in both Canada and the US with duty fees included.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the top 10 Funko Pops of December 2021. I know you guys are probably thinking, if you're new to this podcast or rarely listen to the podcast, I should say also, on why we are doing a top 10 list in the middle of the month. And that is mainly because as long as we've been Funko collectors, we know that around this time in mid-December is when Funko will stop doing announcements because of the Christmas holidays coming up. We know that there's also essentially, as we are recording this, like 3 days of announcements, at least up until Friday left, with that one Funko Fridays announcement that will probably happen for the last Artist Series TMNT Pop, which we will kick off like usual with MD Shady and his number 10 pick.
All right, coming in at number 10 is actually a pop that kind of surprised me, and that is the art series Mr. Freeze. I gotta go with. I was debating between the Mickey that we talked about last week or the Mr. Freeze, and I do think the Mr. Freeze is a little bit better because there's just a little bit more going on, whereas with the Mickey, it's kind of a lot of nothing, I guess you could say. This is a decent art series pop where we normally don't like art series pops.
All right, coming in at number 10 on my list is the GameStop exclusive glow-in-the-dark Blue Beetle. I think this pop is pretty sweet. The colors that are used, and especially what's going to glow, which I mean, it's majority being blue, but I think the green is going to make up for it, which is why I think it just made the list. But I definitely do see this pop not making the list when we do the update in mid-January.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the Monokuma, I believe is how it's pronounced. I think that pop was interesting. I don't know how well it's going to sell. Like I talked about, it is exclusive to Hot Topic, which I think is a good thing. But I think that the pop looks nice, though I don't think it'll sell well because I feel like not a whole lot of people know about what it's from.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Grogu using the Force from The Mandalorian. I think this is a pretty decent pop, although we have seen a lot of Grogu pops essentially within the last couple of years since Mandalorian started. And this one's pretty sweet because it makes it look like he is using the Force instead of, like MD Shady mentioned last week, he's about to give you a big hug.
Moving on to number 8, I have listed down the Azrael Batman. I think that this is a decent version of Batman that is kind of going off skew of what we normally see of different variants of Batman. I did talk about how it looked like a mashup of a couple of different fandoms, which is interesting, but overall, this pop has a lot of detail, and I feel like it's kind of refreshing for Batman collectors to get a pop like this.
All right, coming in at number 8 on my list is the LA Comic-Con exclusive Two-Face from the Batman animated series. I think this is a pretty decent version of Two-Face, and it's always cool to see new Batman the animated series pops.
Now moving on to number 7, I have the Mando with Grogu with obviously the chrome helmet. I think that this is awesome. Obviously, we've seen this pop in the 10-inch form, but now we have it in the 3.75-inch form, which I think is awesome for your average collector. I think that this pop will sell very, very well because you do kind of get a 2-for-1 deal of getting a really awesome Mando pop along with Grogu. So that's super cool.
Coming in at number 7, it is also the Chrome Mandalorian holding Grogu. And pretty much MD summed it up, so I feel like I don't have to say anything. So let's move on to MD's number 6.
Coming in at number 6 on my list is the Star Wars Visions pop moment. I think that is really cool. Obviously, I haven't seen Visions yet, but I will now that I kind of see these cool looking kind of samurai Star Wars pops, which is something that we've never really seen before with Star Wars. So it's very interesting. And it's similar to the Batman pop of being like a refreshing thing to collect for a Star Wars fan.
Coming in at number 6 on my list is the LA Comic-Con exclusive metallic doppelganger Spider-Man. I think the overall design of this pop is really sweet with the detail, except I think what brings it essentially down on this list is the fact that it's metallic and the colors don't really look the greatest. I think a non-metallic one would have been better.
Halfway through the list now, we are moving on to number 5. And number 5 on my list is the brand new Pop Rocks of Eddie Van Halen. This pop looks sweet. You have the jumping pose, which I think is awesome. The mouth looks good. I like when they pick good times to put a mouth on pops, and I think that they did a good job with this one. And they made the guitar look awesome. Overall, this is a sweet Pop Rocks.
Coming in at number 5 on my list is the Target exclusive Captain Marvel Monica Rambeau pop comic covers. And this pop, we pretty much already discussed about how cool it is and how it's probably one of, if not the best Marvel versions of the comic covers so far. And maybe that glow in the dark factor would be sweet that MD Shady talked about and what could have made this pop higher up on the list. And I think there is some hype involved with this too, for this pop comic covers, which is why it's high up on this list in the top 5 portion of this top 10 list.
Coming in at number 4 on my list, I have the Pop Deluxe Tinkerbell, which I think is a awesome looking pop. I'm a decently big fan of Tinkerbell. You could say my mom is actually a pretty huge fan of Tinkerbell. She used to collect a lot of Tinkerbell stuff, so I probably will end up getting this pop for her. I don't know if I'll get one for myself, but I do think that this is an awesome Pop Deluxe where you kind of have like the floorboards with, I forget exactly what was on it, like yarn and maybe like a thimble, I think. So it's really cool. One of the best Tinkerbell pops, if not the best Tinkerbell pop that we've seen.
Coming in at number 4 on my list, it is the Dr. Octopus Sinister 6 Pop Deluxe exclusive to Amazon. This was a really cool set to announce, essentially, and Dr. Octopus is a really cool character to start off with. It is one of the better Dr. Octopus pops, but at the same time, it's lower on this list and not in the top 3 because we have seen multiple Dr. Octopus pops.
Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Duel of Fates Darth Maul. This pop looks sweet, and I can't wait to see all 3 of the pops that are in this set. I feel like it really will create a great scene because it is an awesome scene from The Phantom Menace and in Star Wars overall. So that's just super awesome. Once this whole thing is together, I think that it will be sweet.
Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Target exclusive, the Ronin and B556 Pop Deluxe from Star Wars Visions. I really like this pop, even though I also have not seen Visions yet. I find that this pop is a really unique looking pop, although the majority of it is pretty much black and white, you can say, with the red lightsaber being the only actual color. It's really appealing, and it makes me want to see Star Wars Visions more than I already wanted to, which is why I think it's higher up on the list, is because of my own personal reaction.
Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Batman animated series Two-Face. I think this pop looks just amazing, and it's surprising that we haven't seen a Two-Face pop for the Batman animated series before, and I'm glad we finally do have it now because there's a lot of really awesome pops in that set already, and Two-Face just looks so clean. It looks awesome, and I think I probably will end up starting to collect the Batman animated series pops, mostly because of this pop.
Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Darth Maul Duel of Fates Pop Deluxe. This was a really cool looking pop. Even though we've had multiple Darth Maul pops, it's always cool to see the way that Darth Maul looks now in Funko Pop form compared to what essentially we originally seen of Darth Maul. I thought about putting this one at number 3, but if anything, it'd be more likely for me to get this Darth Maul over the Star Wars Visions pops if I were to buy one or the other.
So moving on to my number 1 is the Doc Ock for the Sinister 6 7-pack kind of build a set, which is so sweet. I really enjoy this pop, and I think that it's going to look phenomenal when it's all together. It's going to look better than the Bounty Hunter collection pops that we've seen, and I think it probably will end up looking better than the Duel of Fates as well once we get that. And it's obviously a lot better than the like Victory Shawarma that we've seen, and I would say it's probably on par or better than the Avengers Assemble set that we've also seen in the past. So this thing is awesome, and I can't wait for more of these pops to be announced.
So the number 1 pop on my top 10 list is none other than Eddie Van Halen. This pop is sweet. This was probably the most hyped pop of the month of December, in my opinion, with the amount of comments that were made. The detail for just such a simplistic human pop is pretty sweet with the stand. You got the mouth showing the facial expression and even the hair kind of flowing in the wind a bit there, even though it's not in the wind. But I mean, when you jump, obviously your hair moves. It doesn't stand in the same spot. So I really like the detail of that. They used the right guitar that Eddie Van Halen is known for using. So it's really awesome they did that. And this is really sweet. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know your favorite Funko Pop of December 2021 so far. Press that subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and we hope to see you guys next week, a couple days earlier, for our best and worst of 2021 podcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
We the best music. Peace in, peace out.